members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the special Election 2022 edition of Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Tonight, in a debate sponsored by Clean Elections, your source for nonpartisan official election information, we feature a debate between the Republican candidates for Arizona governor. Now, this is not a formal debate. It's an open exchange of ideas, an opportunity for give and take between candidates for one of the state's most important offices. As such, interjections, even interruptions, are allowed, provided that all sides get a fair shake, and we'll do our best to see that that happens. Before we begin, of note, the original agreement for tonight's debate was to have one moderator. Plans were later changed to add a second moderator, but the campaigns were not notified of the change until less than 24 hours ago. In the interest of fairness, we decided to honor the original agreement. Let's get things started. Candidates will give opening statements in a randomly selected order and will give closing statements in the opposite order. Joining us now for tonight's debate in order of opening statements, businessman Scott Neely, businesswoman Paula Tuliani-Zen, former television anchor Kari Lake, and former member of the Arizona Board of Regents Karen Taylor Robeson. Earlier, we picked numbers to determine the order of opening statements. Closing statements will again go in reverse order. We start with Scott Neely.
Hi, how you doing? My name's Scott Neely. I'm the candidate for Arizona governor you may not have heard of. I entered the race late on January the 19th because I had contractual obligations. I was busy finishing the cell phone tower contracts I had so that I could keep your news media here in this studio running on new technology. So anyway, I've been in business for 17 years. I'm the candidate who's actually been working on the border wall in multiple sections of the border wall. I've worked Yuma, Nogales, Douglas, Welton, Dateland, you name it. I've worked on that border wall for years. And when I become your next Arizona governor, I will be the guy that finishes the wall. I know where the steel is. It's sitting at Stinger Steel in Coolidge. And I'm willing to jump in a semi-truck and drive that steel to the wall myself if that's what it takes to get the wall started again and get it done and finished. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And now we turn to Paula Tuliani-Zen.
Hello, I'm Paula Tuliani-Zen. I'm an immigrant from Italy, so my name is Italian Zen. Why am I running for governor? Well, first of all, I want to thank you for giving me a seat at the table. How about that? I finally got a seat at the table. Why am I running for governor? Well, you look at what's happening to our country, our government. And every time I looked at something, news, I would say, you know, I could fix this. Oh my God, what are they doing? Stupidity, inept. Or is it planned? So I said, you know what? I want to step in. I'm a business person and we need to run it like a business. Enough is enough. So that's why I'm running for governor. And it's time that people take a good look of who they're going to get as their governor.
All right, thank you very much. For our next opening statement, Kari Lake.
Hello, Arizona. It's so good to be back in your homes, and thank you for welcoming us tonight. I had the blessing to cover this great state for 27 years as a fair journalist. I walked away from my career, and the people of Arizona recruited me to be governor. And I'm running for governor now to fix some of the issues we've had. For those 27 years covering Arizona, we've had some of the same issues, and they haven't been fixed. Under President Trump, who I'm so honored has endorsed me, we had the most secure border we've ever seen. On day one, President Joe Biden pulled back that policy and exposed us to a criminal element, to dangerous drugs that are killing our young people, and he's taken away our ability to protect our own state. When I'm governor, we're going to come back and we're going to protect our border. We're going to secure our border, and we're going to make sure that our kids are learning a decent curriculum and that they're also safe at school. I ask for your vote, and I look forward to the debate.
All right, thank you very much. And for our final opening statement, we turn to Karen Taylor Robeson.
Hi, I'm running for governor because Arizona is under attack, from the cartels at our southern border to the liberals and Joe Biden in Washington, D.C. Arizonans are hurting from inflation. We feel it every time we go to the grocery store and fill up our gas tank. And we are tired of our children being indoctrinated in our schools. I've lived my whole life in Arizona. I built my business, raised my family, and I've created jobs. I get results. We need a conservative fighter. We need a leader with a record of accomplishment, not a career talker with a teleprompter. My life is an open book. I worked for Ronald Reagan. I've supported pro-life causes. I've fought cancel culture, and I will defend the Second Amendment. These are serious times. We need a serious candidate with a record of accomplishment. I'm Karen Taylor Robeson, and I ask for your support.
Candidate, thank you very much. Let's get things started. Carrie, we'll start with you. Everyone here, actually, you want to succeed a Republican governor, 2 terms in office. How would you improve on the last 8 years?
I think Doug Ducey's done some great things. I mean, we've got a great economy right now, although we're slipping into a recession. Unfortunately, we had a business owner, I guess he was a CEO of an ice cream company, who came in, and we expected him to lead like a business owner. And unfortunately, during COVID, he shut our businesses down. He shut our churches down, and he shut our schools down. And he put masks on our children, and I find that unacceptable. And so I would never shut your business down. You don't have to be a business owner or a CEO to know that you don't take somebody's livelihood away. When we needed a strong leader during COVID, I didn't see a strong leader in our governor's office, and unfortunately, people suffered because of that.
If there's a health pandemic and health officials are saying, for now, we need to have masks, we need to shut things down, you would say?
I think initially everybody was on board, 15 days to slow the spread. We were all very nervous about it. I was covering it. But eventually we realized that this is destroying our economy, hurting people, and we didn't need to have those masks. We did not need to wear masks all the way into the summer. And there's other people here on this stage who on Board of Regents had an opportunity to vote our children out of those masks.
Wait
so
a
they
second,
didn't have
Ted,
to wear
that
the
is
masks.
a lie.
They
Ted,
did not.
Hold on,
that
hold on.
is a lie.
Hold on.
Arizona Board of Regents
Fake
record.
Lake.
Arizona Board of Regents.
Fake Lake, that's a lie.
Let her finish, and then you're going right to you.
Okay.
She misses all of the debates, and she now comes and wants to interrupt. I'm happy to talk, but I would like to.
Quickly, please.
There's been 9 that she hasn't showed up at.
When she has an opportunity to vote to get our kids out of masks and prevent them from getting the vaccines, 115 degrees, our college students had to wear masks because she sat the vote out, and she's a coward. And we need somebody who's
All
strong.
right, you're up.
Well, that is an absolute lie. Unlike Carrie Lake and Nancy
Wait a minute,
Pelosi,
you didn't
I
vote.
will
You gotta
not.
let her finish,
She
Carrie.
didn't
I
vote.
will
You gotta let
not
her finish.
vote on anything that I don't read. I won't. I am against mask mandates and COVID vaccine mandates.
why
I have
didn't you
said
vote
that
to protect
all
our
along.
children?
Because I will not vote on anything that I have
It's
not
pretty
read.
obvious that you don't want to give them
Do you think that the governor handled the COVID epidemic correctly?
Here.
You know,
Hold on, Paula.
In hindsight, when you see that he angered as many people on the left as the right, he probably got it just about right. And from an economic standpoint, Arizona's economy has come roaring back. That's why so many people are moving here. So we have recovered from the pandemic faster than most other states.
If
All
I'm
right,
going to be
Paula,
called Fake Lake, I'd like to
Okay,
respond
respond,
to
please,
that.
quickly.
First of all, you can go to my website, carrielake.com, and you can see exactly how Karen has voted. We
Absolutely,
put
please
her
do.
Arizona Board of Regents,
Please do.
her record there.
Okay.
She's voted pro-abortion.
That is not
She has
true.
voted. She's
That is
against the Second
absolutely
Amendment.
a
This is
lie.
right there in.
Those are issues we're going to get to those. I promise you.
But
are.
I'm not going to be called fake if I'm telling the truth here.
All right.
Well,
you-
truth
you've
is not
had a
telling
chance
the
to-
truth.
you've had a chance
When
to-
she did not vote our
Fake
children
Lake.
out of
I
masks.
am 100%
Okay,
pro-life.
let's
I always
hold
have
on with
been
the
and
fake
I always
lake.
will be.
Hold on with the fake lake and hold on
You
with
know
the
what? We
response to
do.
the
We
fake lake.
do need. She's right. We do need somebody who's a grown-up, and somebody who calls names is not a grown-up.
All right, Paula, I'm going to ask you. I think the original question was something along the lines of how would you improve in the last 8 years? How would you improve?
Ducey's improve. Yes, obviously I would not have shut down the businesses. And you know what? We all panicked the first 3-4 months, and we did what they told us to do. But you know, after that, when science comes out, we should have had a choice. And when you talk about masks on children, little children, that's what I disagree with. You know, I'm not that much concerned about the kids going to college. They're going in air conditioning. All right? They have a car, they go to the building. The little kids are a problem. We're keeping that bacteria right in their face. It went to an extreme. And you know what? He should have how did you say, get rid of the mandate a lot sooner. He did it a few months ago.
agree.
Why? Because he was backed up into a corner. That's why. Because we have health providers that don't want to go to work.
Scott-
He didn't
Scott
have
needs-
the strength. He
Scott
didn't
needs
have
to
the
get into
strength.
this. Scott, please.
I'm in. So the question is that am I against mask mandates?
No, the
or-
question is how would you improve on the last 8 years? You're a Republican. He's a Republican.
So here's the thing. What he did was totally wrong. All he did was help the oligarchs. He helped Walmart, Amazon, Lowe's, Home Depot, and all the biggest companies to grow their businesses during a pandemic. Their stocks went through the roof. They made tons of money.
Think it was intentional?
It was intentional, absolutely intentional. They closed my business down. But you know what? I didn't listen. I kept it open. I did what I wanted to do. I challenged the EPA to come in my business and shut me down, and they didn't come in. They didn't shut me down. You didn't have to listen, people. You didn't have to listen.
Yeah, but you want to be governor of Arizona, and you've got health experts telling you to do X,
Listen,
Y,
we don't mind the 14 days to slow the
X, Y,
spread.
and Z. Do you not follow the advice of experts?
You follow the advice of the 14 days to slow the spread. That I was on board with. But once we got past 14 days, and once I realized using these masks on a job site didn't even keep concrete dust or shotcrete dust out of my mask, how could it scientifically keep a small bacterial virus
and we knew that
out
at
of
the
my
beginning.
mask?
We
How?
knew that masks didn't work. There's
They don't work.
Studies
They don't keep
on it.
dust out. They're not going to keep a
and
virus out
you're asking
that's
about what Governor
microscopic.
Ducey should have done when he had a medical
Yes.
expert, the director of our health
Other experts
services.
as well, not just one.
He didn't have the backbone to do it.
Exactly.
Okay, that's it.
The
You
other
agree
thing
with-
is, though,
hold on,
listen,
Karen. Do you agree that the current governor didn't have the backbone to do what was best for Arizona?
That's right. It's all
Absolutely,
about
he
money.
had,
Hold
he had the
on,
backbone.
No,
He had the
hold on.
backbone to do what was
Hold
good
on.
for the big businesses.
Hold on, Karen. Do
Period.
you believe he
I'll
did
tell
not
you,
have the backbone?
We're all sitting here with the benefit of being a Monday morning quarterback. What I'm saying is Arizona's economy has come roaring back from the pandemic.
Actually,
it's
headed
easy.
to
no,
the
it
right.
hasn't.
Wait,
you know what?
it
You know
is.
what? When you're a
Economy's heading
billionaire,
down.
when
We
you're a
have
billionaire
moved up
living
to
in a
number
mansion,
3.
everything looks bright and shiny and good.
And it's nice that you're my neighbor, Carrie.
People have. I live in a townhome. People have lost their businesses. They're never going to come back from that. They put their life savings into it, and we need somebody who knows the importance of that. I grew up the youngest of 9. I had to work for everything I ever had. I built my career to cover this state, and I understand the value of a dollar. I'm not somebody who just throws away money like my opponent, who's throwing more money
Okay,
into this
wait a
race
second.
for a
You know,
vanity
okay,
project.
All
let's
right,
answer
all right,
it.
hold on,
Okay, I
hold
want
on.
to get to
This
it.
is a
We're
vanity
gonna
project.
get to you
ready
for a
to
second,
Yeah,
but
I
we
started
just
my
heard-
career
we just heard
at
vanity
25
project.
cents an hour. That's when I got on the ladder.
All right.
and I have worked my
okay,
entire
wait.
life.
We all have a history. We all have had struggles, but now that's why we're running to be governor
To
because
help
we
people.
all
Right.
That's right. We know how to overcome obstacles, and we've
right.
done it, and we have won, and we need to win for Arizona.
Do you think-
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask a question individually, and hopefully we'll get complete answers
Yeah, it's okay.
here. And we'll start with you, Paula, since you're
Yes.
anxious to talk here.
Right.
Do you think Republican voters look on the Ducey 8 years as a problem, as something that went wrong? What do Republican voters want from the next governor?
Well,
Something
first-
different?
First of all, you know, we talk about transparency. Do we ever have it? We don't know. Everything's hidden. We've got to let people know what's happening in our government. We've got to move things a lot faster in our government.
I don't agree with an $18 billion budget. That
No,
thing's
okay,
bloated.
Let me have my turn, please. Okay, $18 billion budget is right. That was not vetoed. How did we grow from 12 billion to 18 billion during these times?
The governor's office and supporters of the governor, and a lot of Republicans would say you got there because of growth policies put in place by the governor and the legislature. Are they wrong?
Well, what do you mean growth? From who?
Policies,
Policy.
growth
Now they're
policies.
spending
yes,
money
yeah, they're
like
spending
drunken
money.
rhino
You know,
sailors.
the more money you take, you have to spend it all. Look, we're going to hit tough times. And we've got to see that. We've got a homeless problem. We have a lot of problems in the state.
Okay.
We've got to look at our
Can I
social
address
services.
the budget real quick?
Very
because
quickly,
it was a
please.
bipartisan budget, and there's a lot in there that people aren't happy about. We did get some good things in that budget. We got $50 million to secure our schools so our kids don't get shot.
We did get
needed that.
$544
Excuse me,
million
Scott.
for the border wall, which
We
I
also
agree
got
with.
$1 billion
agree with that a lot.
for. We also got $1 billion for roads and bridges. We need that. And when I'm governor, I'm going to make sure rural Arizona gets some of that money.
Yeah,
we
but-
also got $500 million for a border wall, and I hope to put you to work building that wall.
Scott-
We're going to start it.
Yeah,
I might be
but the
putting you to
answer-
work to be
The
able to-
question, Scott, is this is a Republican primary, and folks voting in the Republican primary, are they going to want something radically different than what they've seen
Yeah,
in the
I'll
past?
tell you-
No, Paula,
Oh.
for the past 8 years, Scott. What do you
Yes,
think?
they want something radically
Yes.
different. You know what they want? Doug Ducey was an elitist, okay? He was an elitist. Okay, he's a wealthy man, an elitist. He's got a background. He's an elitist. He was installed as the CEO of Cold Stone, okay? no offense, but everybody on this stage is an elitist. What we need is a middle-class candidate for governor who has a street view of what's going on, not an elite view from an ivory tower. I'm sorry, but you all live in ivory towers. I don't.
Okay.
All right,
I
Karen,
don't.
I need
really
for you to
don't,
respond to
actually.
this. I mean, I'm hearing a Republican
exception with
forum
that.
of people
Well, you've got a few million
not
in your war
happy
chest.
with
I
the
don't.
last 8 years of a Republican governor. What do you make of that? Do you agree with that?
What Arizona wants is opportunity. That means a low tax, low regulatory environment. And when I'm governor, that's what we will have.
The
that what
we
you
now
elites
have?
have
Is
not
that what we
created
now
a
have?
low-tax,
We now
low-regulatory
have-
environment
Scott,
for us
please.
people.
Please,
We
Scott.
now have the lowest flat tax in the nation, courtesy of our Republican majorities in the House and Senate. We have the lowest flat tax in the nation. We have our regulatory environment. I would always push against the bureaucratic inertia of regulation. I would always push against that. And when I'm governor, we will. We will roll back regulations. We will get rid of regulations we don't need.
Which ones?
We've got any number. We can
That flat tax is
wanna-
one layer of tax. We have so many layers of tax that
I
we don't
agree.
even know where they're all
I
at.
I want to
agree.
get back
It's
to Karen. So your
What-
response is that you would not be radically different from what we've seen in the past 8 years. Different, yes. Radically different, no?
We are going to make Arizona the small business capital of this country, and
Is it-
that means we
okay,
have to
is
have
it
a
not a
low
small
tax.
business capital now?
Because she's
No.
okay with small businesses being shut down, as she just said.
I am a small business owner.
She's okay with.
I am a
Actually,
small
your
business
husband's a
owner.
billionaire. Ed Robson owns Robson Resort Communities.
That's right.
That is not a small business.
Okay,
I-
wait, first
I
of
have
all,
a
we're
small
talking.
business. I have-
Okay,
Wait,
everyone,
wait,
let's,
she's
hold-
okay
hold
with
on.
small
How about me?
businesses being shut down.
No,
Everyone hold on for
I
a
am
second.
not.
We encourage interjection
And I have never
interruption,
said
but
that.
we've got to have some semblance of order.
Roll back
Please.
the tape. She just said that.
Please.
I am a small business
I asked
owner,
you a question, but I
That's
didn't
not
get a
true.
response from you. Would you?
What do you mean that's
Scott,
not
please.
true?
Are
You're
you
not a
listening?
small. You're worth
Scott,
millions of dollars. That's not a
Scott,
small business.
I have
It
a
doesn't
small.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like Trump said, do we want people in office that have not made money, or do we want people that are broke? Are they going to make money for you?
I have had
Money
a
should not
30-year.
define how you
I have
lead
had a
the
30-year
people.
successful career.
No, you still need to.
As a working woman, I have built my businesses. I've created jobs. I've gotten results. That's what I've
done the same.
And
I
Scott,
will
I'm going to
bring
ask
my
you not to
executive
interrupt for just one second.
experience.
I'm asking you the same question I asked before. Would you be radically different than the previous 8 years?
I will make sure that Arizona has a pro-business environment so that every Arizonan
Is
has the
that radically
opportunity.
different than what we've seen?
I don't believe it is. I believe Arizonans
don't believe
want
it
an
is.
opportunity. Every single American, every
All
single
right.
Arizonan wants an opportunity to succeed, and that means getting government out of the way. That means having a low tax, low regulatory environment so anybody who wants to work hard can succeed.
Okay, panel, we're going to move on, and we're going to move on. This would be a beauty here.
Yeah.
Kerry, we'll start with you. You've called Joe Biden an illegitimate president. What does that mean?
He lost the election and he shouldn't be in the White House. We had a corrupt election. I'd actually like to ask everybody on this stage if they would agree we had a corrupt, stolen election. Raise your hand. Did we have? It's a simple
I would
question.
like to.
Did
I'm
we
not going to
have-
I've
play
got
your,
questions.
your stunt.
Well, let me
Because
finish
on election
answering
night,
then.
Carrie
Let me
Lake-
finish answering.
Carrie
Okay,
Lake called
instead
me
of
a
everyone
liar.
raising
Joe
You
their
wanna
Biden.
know why?
If everyone raising their hands, I want to know why you think that the election was either rigged, stolen, or whatever the phrase might be.
It was
when
corrupt and stolen.
Corrupt and
yes.
stolen,
It-
whatever.
I've looked at the evidence. We did a forensic
Why have
audit.
you looked at the evidence and the courts
Turn it
looked
over
at
to the authorities.
Not
courts-
had a
the
chance to
courts
look at the
haven't
evidence
looked at the
because they
evidence.
haven't found
We have
sustainable
evidence.
and substantive.
And
Then turn
we
it in.
evidence.
You should turn
we
it in.
have evidence. I know you don't
should
believe that
turn
our
it in.
election was stolen, Karen.
I believe our
and there's a
election was
reason.
absolutely not
There's a
fair.
reason that the
And
people who
I'll
want
tell
to
you
s-
why.
There's a
Okay.
reason that the people who want to see election integrity are endorsing
I'm
it.
gonna-
I just got the
Karen-
endorsement of Dinesh D'Souza. I've got the endorsement of all the America First people.
And I'm the
because
only
they know that I'm
gubernatorial
going to.
candidate who supports election integrity in the state of Arizona. I signed the election integrity at the election integrity declaration at the state capitol. I'm in support of HB 2289. I don't see anybody in here supporting it.
All right,
It would
I want to go
fix
back.
our
I want to
election.
go back. I
I
want to
support
go
that.
back, Carrie. The governor, the attorney general, speaker of the House, the U.S. attorney general. None of these people agree with the U.S. attorney general, William Barr, who says he would vote for Donald Trump again. He says that the 2000 Mules film shows nothing. There is
Wow.
no evidence.
Have you seen it? Have
It
you
doesn't
seen
matter
it?
if I've seen it.
But I'm
asking,
curious
I'm
because it
asking
shows a
you
lot. It
that
shows a
William
lot.
Barr, the attorney general, says there's nothing there. At what point do you think Republican voters are going to say, let it go?
I think it's the number one issue. The reason
Well-
that we have, and if I can finish, I would appreciate it. The reason that we have a border that is wide open, we have fentanyl pouring in, killing our young people. We have people pouring across the border. We have an invasion on our border. The reason we have children being smuggled and trafficked and adults being trafficked across this country. The reason we have inflation, the sky-high inflation, and can't afford our gasoline, can't afford our groceries, is because we had a rigged, stolen election. The facts are there. The forensic audit proves it. 740,000 ballots that did not have a chain of custody, cannot be authenticated, and yet were counted. They should not have been counted.
Why can't that
That's just
information
one.
be submitted as evidence
It
in
is,
a court
and
of law?
our AG has the evidence. He's failing to act
Why
on
is he failing to do
I
that?
think because he thinks he can get away with it.
Why
And I
would he think that? Why would
because
he
we
think
have a lot
that?
of people who were part of the corruption. They watched a corrupt election happen, and then they certified a corrupt election. And that's the problem.
You would not have certified our election.
No, I would not have.
Karen, would you have certified our election?
I didn't have
course
the
you would
evidence in front of me.
Of
I'm
course
a
you would
lawyer.
have.
I wouldn't act. It's like acting on a piece of legislation that I haven't read.
So-
I wasn't sitting there. I was not privy to the information.
She's
that
a
the governor-
lawyer.
that the governor was submitted. But I'll tell you why I believe the elections weren't fair. When you look at what liberal judges did across this country to usher in new rules and new laws in the days and weeks and months before the election. You look at the media suppressing the news. I don't need to say anything more than Hunter Biden, or big tech suppressing or silencing conservative voices. And then Mark Zuckerberg, who spent $470 million in precincts across this country to increase voter turnout in heavily Democrat precincts, right? Including here in Arizona. All of those things together led to 78% of Arizona Republicans thinking something was wrong with the election. But I am focused on 2022 because the left is 10 steps ahead of us. And I don't have the time to explain what they're doing, what we know they're doing for 2022.
Okay, I heard
but
you say-
I
I
am
heard you
going
say-
to do everything I can to win this election so that Arizona is in
Right.
Republican hands for the 2024
I
election
heard
when
you
we
say
can
the
take
election
back
was
the
You know
White
what?
House.
unfair.
It's different. It's
Unfair,
different.
but
Yes.
unfair is, hold on please, unfair is different than rigged, stolen, and illegitimate.
I am not going to be in the cul-de-sac that the left wants us to be.
Let's
They
call it-
want us to be on the
So you're
2020
not willing to
battle.
say
Joe
that the
Biden-
election wasn't rigged?
I'm willing
Listen,
to
there's
tell you.
election fraud
It's
on
very
many layers.
obvious. Let me
right,
just say something.
right.
It's very obvious that Karen is controlled by her consultants, high-paid McCain consultants. This election is about, are we going to go forward?
I am not
we, the
controlled by
people, in
anybody.
control of our destiny?
that's the
Or are
whole-
we
this is-
going
that's
to
the
have-
whole
we
thing.
have
Are we going to
election
have
fraud
the
right now going on.
establishment?
You know,
Okay, go,
you know,
Paul,
you know,
Paul,
the
let's get
establishment.
Paula,
Yeah, you know
please.
what? We are beating a dead horse. Right now, we've got a lot to do. You know, we've got to protect this election. And what precautions have we taken to protect this?
We haven't
I
taken
know-
any.
You're right.
I know there's a lot of volunteers.
And it will never
Now,
happen.
HB
Wait, let me
2289.
finish.
Hold on,
Solved
let her
it.
finish, please, Scott.
Okay. God, they talk over me, and I'm Italian. That shouldn't happen. You know
I'm
what?
Irish.
Okay. You know what? We should have worked this year to take precaution on what this new election and further. Okay? We haven't. We have volunteers that are going in. Why not get high-tech people that are going to be on the machines that are Republicans? A Democrat, Republican, get supervisors, equal amount.
That happens. We have
We-
parties looking over
That's right.
election results.
They're doing it now.
No, they've
They're actually
always
It's
telling
done
time
it.
to
people,
move on
Ted, you
from
don't even
the
realize this. They're telling
2020
people
election.
who are signing up to be election watchers, if you believe in election fraud, we don't want you in here. A lot of people believe in election fraud. They were down there at the forensic audit site. Can I
Believing in
finish?
election fraud
They
is
saw
one
it,
thing.
Ted. They saw it. They
If
saw it
they
with their
saw
own
it, they
eyes.
should have reported it, and there should be criminal prosecution.
Sir,
There hasn't been any.
100,000 hours of volunteer work at the forensic audit. People saw these ballots. They saw the problems. 34,000 ballots were counted 2, 3, and 4 times. We had major election fraud. 200,000 minimum ballots were trafficked by mules. This is why
But
people...
Carrie, you're part of the election fraud going on in the Republican primary as we speak right now. I mean, you're being propped up and supported by Kelly Ward and the AZ GOP. And during the primary, a GOP chair is not supposed to get behind one candidate.
I don't
but
think
she's
she
got
has.
behind you
No,
solely.
she hasn't.
Blake
Oh,
Masters.
she has.
Oh, yes,
Kelly
she has.
Cooper.
She has.
I have
She's
not had
picked
wrong.
her
Pam
America
Kirby.
First award-winning team, Abe Hamaday.
I am
and
America
whether they're
First.
good, and
You're
whether
right.
they're
You're
good
right.
candidates or not, you cannot legally, as an AZ GOP chair, get behind your favorite candidates for office. Even Ronna McDaniel said that. You can't do that. It's not legal.
I have not received her endorsement. Thank you.
Well,
I
you
am
wouldn't.
America
With
First,
you,
and I'm
she
the only
tweets your
America
stuff.
First candidate
Pam
up
Kirby
here.
is at your press conferences.
Listen, I have
You're
a
not pretty
lawsuit going
obvious.
against Kelly Ward and the AZ GOP because of what she's doing.
Well, that's between you and the AZGOP.
Last question on this. Last
She acts
question.
like she's your
But if
campaign
you're gonna
manager.
fight-
Ted, I think
If
you've
you're gonna
lost
fight
control.
for
No,
election
yeah,
integrity, you have to.
You guys can discuss. I'm going to ask
Election-
over here. Last question here.
What?
Do you think Republican voters want to go once again over all of these things between mules and this and
No, they
rumors
don't.
and
They
innuendo?
don't.
Do they
You know
want
what they
this?
want? An honest
May I
election.
finish? Mamma mia. You know what? We've got to get on with it. We've got a lot of problems coming our way. Inflation, number one.
Okay.
The border. We have a lot, and we're still stuck on this, and we have done nothing about it. You know what?
All right, Karen, I'm
Don't
going to
worry,
move
we're
because I want
going
to
to
move on
fix it,
too.
and we're going to do
Karen,
something about it when I'm
Do
governor.
Republican voters want to hear more about the 2020 election?
Republican voters now are worried about putting food on their table and gas in their gas tank. They're worried about the border. They're worried about safety and security. That's what I hear from voters
Okay, so
all across
stop
this.
the emphasis on 2020.
We need to win in
Yeah,
2022.
stop talking about
Scott,
it.
stop the emphasis on 2020. What do you think? Is that
about
what
we talk
Republican
about-
voters want?
How about we talk about solutions for our own state going forward?
For our
how about we do
businesses.
that?
Lack of
Thank you, Scott.
one
I
of- one of
appreciate
the
your
s-
help. I'm asking you a question. Do Republican voters want to go over 2020 again?
I
No.
think most people want to move forward.
Gary?
I think
wanna move
most
forward.
people want election integrity and election honesty, and they
What
want
does
to
it
make sure.
mean? What does it mean?
Like I said,
Nothing
we're
has
not
been
having
done.
election integrity
Well,
in
you
the middle of
can
this
keep talking about it, but
AZ-GOP
you have
primary
to
as it goes.
Go
So
forward with
what-
the
what
the
integrity?
issues that we
I
have
feel
in our
like I'm on
state.
an SNL skit here. Are
You
we
know
going to
what?
take
It-
control of the debate?
We
Ted,
are
or do you want me
taking
to do it?
no, Carrie. I don't want
I'm
you to try
happy
to
to
take
do
it.
it.
I know you would be happy
Okay.
to do it.
listen, I haven't been on a stage with this many women since I've been to a baby shower. It's been a while.
I don't know how that's going to go over, Scott, but we'll let that hang. Let's talk about.
What?
I think
Last-
people want election honesty. They
All
want
right. Are you
honesty
going
in their
to accept the election results? Do you think election security in Arizona is such that
We
you
don't have
trust?
election security.
So why keep
So
talking
do you
about
trust
it?
the
until we can
results
We're
of the
work-
going to
election?
work with the legislature to make sure we have rules in
That's
place
not an
and
answer to
laws
my
in
It's
question. Scott,
interesting.
are you going to accept the results of this election if you think there's so much fraud that it can't be trusted?
Are you talking about the primary I'm currently
I'm
in?
talking about the primary.
The one we're in now?
Yes.
We're going to see what happens. But I personally don't believe.
Do you think Republican voters want a candidate who doesn't even believe in the vote?
I don't believe this primary has been fair. I can tell you that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have launched the lawsuit.
Kerry, do you think Republican voters want a candidate who doesn't believe in the integrity of the election right now?
I think they want someone who's going to do something with our elections to make sure they're fair. And we don't have fair elections, you're right, but we're going to show up and vote in droves. We have a movement. Our campaign is a movement. We're going to show up and vote in droves. They're going to have to cheat even harder in order to try to win this.
Your
So I think-
campaign's a psyop.
Paula,
Is-
do you think that you will accept the results of an election if election security is not what you think it should be, if you believe all of these conspiracy theories?
Well, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe in that. You know, I want to see the proof. I want definitive proof of everything. And then I analyze it, and then I'm going to make my own decision. And I think that's what we have to tell the people. You know, we do protect as much as we can pre-election and during our election. And if we believe there's fraud, it should have been handled in the very beginning. When he hung up the phone at Trump and people are dissatisfied, it should have been handled immediately, not a year later. And it goes on, and we're spending millions of dollars, and we don't
Gotcha.
have.
Karen, will you accept the results? And do you trust election systems in Arizona to be secure?
I will accept the results, and I will work tirelessly when I'm governor to make sure penalties for ballot harvesting are sufficient to prevent it, that we have requirements for voter IDs sufficiently, and that we clean up the voter rolls, that we have uniform requirements to clean up voter rolls so that we're not sending ballots to dead people or people who have moved.
But we have
and
all
these
those
are things
rules
we
on the
have
books, and
to
they're
do
not being
But they're not
enforced.
enforced.
They're not being enforced.
Listen, we're voting
we
for
will.
27 days in Arizona. This
In
is ridiculous.
they're not
Each and
cleaned
every
up.
year, we have to do what we can to continue to make it easier to vote and harder to cheat. It's not something we fix and then it's done. We have to be diligent every single cycle and continue to improve our
we're
process.
gonna-
Wait,
so
there's a
that-
reason.
Real
There's a
quickly,
reason
please.
that I have the America First movement behind me, and I have people who understand voting integrity and election integrity. Because when they hear somebody who's trying to buy this election call our last election unfair, it was more than unfair. You just have to look at the evidence, and some people aren't willing
The
to look
voters
at it.
are
Carrie,
ready
you're
to
buying the
move
election
on.
with free media all the time.
Okay,
right.
we are going to
27
move
years of
on.
free media.
Carrie, we'll start with you. How do we ensure that Arizona schools have quality teachers, keep quality teachers, How can we make this known as the education state?
We just put a lot of money into education with this last budget. I think it's a good thing that we are putting money into our education. I have a public school teacher who's very near and dear to my heart. Probably the most important person in my world was my father. He was a public school teacher. He taught history. He taught government. And he was a football coach. If you look at our teachers and you look at their salary, since 1970, adjusted for inflation before Joe Biden's hyperinflation, they're flat. They keep using these teachers as political pawns, and they never give them the money they deserve. You keep quality teachers by paying good teachers
Yeah, but we gotta
more
have a
money. Can I finish,
Hold on.
please?
We got to
May-
have a solution, okay?
And the problem is they're putting all the money into administrators. Administrators, their salaries have jumped. I don't think any administrator should make more than a teacher in the classroom. And if I may finish,
Yes.
and if we get our curriculum turned around so we're not teaching nonsense, teachers will want to stay and teach.
How do we make sure that education in Arizona improves? That
Are you
we
looking at me?
No, I'm not looking at you, Paula. How do we make sure that education improves and that, again, Arizona can be known as an education state?
Absolutely. We have been an education innovator, and when I'm governor, the money follows the kid into the classroom, and our legislature just took a huge step
That's
towards
right.
that. We're going to put the money in the classroom, and it will filter up to the administration. Instead of going through the administration
when she was
and
at
being
ASU,
laundered
she
through.
was pushing for CRT.
That
you
is-
do
oh
not.
my
Yes,
God.
you did.
Are you kidding?
The same day that you
Fake
didn't. No.
lake.
We have it on our website. The
Fake
same
lake.
time
I had a
that you refused to
2-year
vote our kids out
battle.
of masks,
I
you
had a
voted for a
2-year
CRT.
Go ahead.
I had a 2-year battle with the leftists in our universities to get American history and American government required as general education in order to graduate
Then
from
why
our
did you vote
universities.
for a CRT
it was
type
a
of training for
2-year
our
battle.
students? Then
we
why
now
did you
have
do that,
American
Karen?
history and American government
It
required
was
to
under her
graduate from
tutelage
Arizona
at the Board of
University.
Regents that Arizona
You know,
State University became woke.
after-
under her tutelage.
after
Okay, how do you
27
respond
years.
to that? How do you respond to what she just said?
Well, how does she respond
It's
to
right
what
there
I did?
in her Board of Regents voting
You
record.
can go
It's
to my
right
record.
there.
She is a master at fake news. 27 years in the liberal media. She learned to twist the truth.
No.
She was
Out
just
and out lies.
fundraising at
That's
Laguna
not true.
Beach.
Right.
She
That's
was
not
literally just in California
You know what?
fundraising
Okay,
last week, and
Scott,
she
I was-
canceled
I've
two
been-
events
I've
here to
been-
fundraise
Hold
in
on, Scott,
Laguna
please.
Beach.
I've
it's
been
not
an
the
honest
question.
journalist my whole life. That's why the people of Arizona
Okay.
asked me to run for office.
And we're
what
going
I
to try
see
and
as
keep.
fake
We're going
news
to try.
right
We're
now.
going to try and keep, as per your request, trying to get more control over this. So we're going to get back to education and power.
Well, I don't think any
as
of us
far
have been able
as
to finish a
education,
sentence.
Can
is
I be
concerned.
uninterrupted this time?
We'll
Please,
see.
give
We'll
me a-
see, Paula.
Give me a minute or two. All right, what is the question again?
Education in Arizona. How do we improve it? How do we keep
well,
teachers?
well-
How do we keep other states
well,
from poaching our teachers?
That's right. You know what? Vouchers are good. Look, my grandchildren have gone to private, Catholic. Now they're in Catholic. They've gone to public. We've experienced it all, okay? We have a right, of course, we can afford it, but not every family can. So we're not going to abandon the public schools. But what's going to happen, just like business, competition is going to create a better business. It's going to create better schools, better education. And another thing, we have to go. I'm sorry, am I
I was gonna
interrupting?
ask
We're
about-
leading
I was
the
gonna ask
way
about
in
ESAs and
education
vouchers. Do
freedom.
you think those help public schools in Arizona?
Well, first of all, public schools are still going to exist. Certain people, how many people can drive their children? My daughter drives her children 20 miles every morning and every afternoon.
But Ted, our money,
No,
our education
my-
money does not belong to any particular school. It belongs to the children.
It belongs
the
to
money we
parents.
spend in education belongs to the student.
I agree.
And
That's
we're going to be
what's
able
happening.
to follow that money. The money
And
follows
that's what
the
I'm
student
saying.
now.
It belongs. They have a decision. If they want to move their child out of the school. You know, my son went to a terrible public school. The teacher was abusive. I just went there and just pulled him out. She would call him stupid in class. And I'm telling you, if you meet my son, he's a star. You know what? I pulled him out. I sent him to private school. You know, he had confidence, he excelled, and you have a right as a parent to take that child
Right,
and put
and-
him where
now
you
you
And
want.
real
can,
quickly,
and now
what
you
about
can.
those who can't afford to put their kids in private
You
schools?
can now.
Vouchers and ESAs
But I
included.
agree. I don't want to abandon the public schools. I believe we need to help them. We can't afford to have children that fail in 8th grade and put them out in our society.
We're not
Scott, no,
abandoning them.
Scott, get in on
Yes.
this. Education, please.
Education. Here's the solution. And here's what most people don't realize and most people don't know. In schools right now, for example, my sons who just graduated from Mesa High School about a month ago, I had found out and discovered recently that they have 5 vice principals. They have a department head for science and math and PE, physical education, you name it. Every department has a department head. They've got 8 academic counselors, 4 guidance counselors. It's all overbloated on the top. They're building a 3-story office because they're probably going to add a 6th vice principal. Mountain View High School in Mesa has 6 vice principals. I can only imagine the school district levels what they're doing with all the extra vice,
Yeah, but
you know.
may I
With
say some-
competition, that'll have to change because they'll realize that that's not going to work anymore for the student. They'll start losing
What we
students.
need
You know
to
what,
do
first
is
of all,
fire some
you
of
know-
these
no, no,
administrators,
I'm gonna-
and we need to take that
Okay.
money and apply
I'm
it
going
to
to tell
new
you one
teacher
thing.
jobs and
An
teacher
audit has
raises.
never been done in education. It has never been done. And you know, when I'm governor, if God willing I'm there, first thing we're going to do an audit on
We
education.
don't need an audit. I just told you what's happening.
Yeah, but you do need numbers. Numbers are the proof, and then we get everything
We
in
need to
line.
know the numbers of how many administrators we're going to get rid of. You're right.
All right, Karen, as far as ESA voucher program, it was greatly expanded by this legislature, greatly over, some would argue, the will of the public, which greatly
Yes.
asked, don't do this a few years ago. Was that a wise thing to do? Would you sign something like that?
Yes, I have always been an advocate of school choice. We have a system right now designed for the adults and not the kids. When I'm governor, we will have an education system designed for the kids, and we will pay our good teachers like we want to keep them.
As far as vouchers are concerned, though, how do you tell a kid from a low-income family that to go into Brophy or some of these other expensive
You're
schools,
right.
even with vouchers, you still can't pay for that? You still can't.
But there will
afford
be
that.
many options, and as it relates to transportation, there are great pilot programs out there that we will scale and expand so people can get to the school that they want
no,
How
to
are you
get
going to
to.
expand transportation
can't. That's
if
the
we're
problem.
stealing from the
They
HERF
No.
fund? We are stealing money from the HERF fund. We're putting it in the general fund. We're giving more to the
swept it in
administrators in
2008.
education. We're not raising the teacher
You
pay.
know,
We're not hiring more
We
teachers.
need to raise the teacher pay.
And
If
we need to
did,
stop
we
stealing
wouldn't
money
have
We
out
all
of the HERF fund
agree
because
teacher
our
pay
roads and
needs to be
bridges are
increased.
decaying.
Do we agree with
yes,
that?
Yes,
And I
we
want to see
do.
administrators'
Yes, we
pay
do.
go down. We need fewer administrators. They shouldn't be making more than teachers in the classroom, except perhaps the principal.
Well,
I
here's
think
the
we
thing.
can
The
agree on that.
principal's
And then
got to take more responsibility. He's the manager of the school.
That's
We
right.
can eliminate
Absolutely.
a lot of layers if that manager took care of his school, and we don't give him enough
Yes.
responsibility.
But it's a good old boy club, and they're giving their friends
right.
jobs.
All right. Okay, we got you. We got you. I want to
got
move
it?
on. We're moving.
You got
Yeah,
it?
I got it. We're
You
moving
got
on,
it?
Paula. Thank you. We'll start with you, Paula. What the heck? I'm looking at you this time. Arizona, $1 billion budgeted for water. How do you spend that? How do you best spend that?
Well, you know, I've been in so many meetings for water. We're all over the place. Desalinization, groundwater, wells, taking water from Missouri, okay, the Midwest, take it from Mississippi, which is garbage, okay? Got it all over the place. I think get everybody at the table. First of all, the money that's allocated, what was it for? Desalinization. I don't know enough about it. What is the cost to the end user for desalinizing? How much water can we produce? Where is it coming from? We don't have those answers. Okay, we give over $1 billion to research that.
Well, we're not giving $1 billion to desalination.
Well, it's allocated.
So
It's allocated.
It's in
Okay.
the
You know what?
budget.
I'm glad we're
how do you do-
talking about this because before I got into the race, nobody wanted to talk about it. I've been covering Arizona for 27 years and hearing about our water issues. No one's taken the big, bold moves. We need every idea that's out there. We need to explore every idea from desal of our brackish underground water. We have a lot
That
of
was
water.
my idea, by the
You
way.
know what? That's what I've been
From-
saying.
can I
You're
finish?
repeating.
Hold
No,
on,
you're
hold on,
repeating
Pa-
what I'm saying.
Hold on, Paula.
Harry, you always
If-
repeat that.
Paula, please.
First
let
of all,
her-
put
Pa-
everything.
Paula,
I feel like
What?
this is a
Please.
spoof, honestly.
Go ahead. Finish what you were saying, please.
Oh,
Is this a spoof, Ted?
No, it's not. Finish
Are
what
you
you're saying.
sure?
Yes, I am.
Wow. Okay. We need to explore every single option on the table. And I think we need to look at piping water in from the Missouri River Basin, Mississippi River
That's
Basin.
unrealistic.
Groundwater pumping
We-
from rural areas.
we've
Should
got
that
the way-
continue unchecked?
No, it shouldn't continue unchecked. But one thing we can't do, we've got a water situation and we cannot regulate ourselves out of a drought. And we cannot continue to give the ag community the short end of the stick. Whenever things get tough, we end up taking from them. And we're going to end up with a food crisis before we have a water crisis.
That's already
if we don't-
coming.
If we don't
Scott, all
handle
right,
it.
Scott, you're busting to get in here. Water policy, $1 billion. How do you spend it?
$1 billion. Okay, first of all, I don't do what Kerry Lake's been talking about for months and Doug Ducey's been talking about for months, which is to build a desalinization plant in Mexico on the Sea of Cortez and then pipe clean water into Arizona. We don't do that. What we do is we take our current desalination plant that was built in 1992 that's sitting in Yuma, Arizona. It was built by the Army Corps of Engineers back in 92. We can pipe the water in from Mexico. There's no problem with that. We can desal it in Arizona, creating Arizona jobs, not Mexican jobs. We can take the brine from the desal. We can use that brine to create micronuclear systems.
And how much is all this going to cost?
Micronuclear, we can do a micronuclear system.
No, everything you just said. How much is that going to cost?
Everything that, probably in the ballpark, the micronuclear is going to be probably $1 billion. The desal plant's probably going to be $1 billion. It's probably going to be about $2 billion.
Okay.
No.
Karen, as far as water is concerned in Arizona, the money is now, attention is now there. What do we do?
I'm the only candidate in this race that has nearly 30 years of experience in natural resource management, including water issues. Every option has to be looked at, every option. That money is going to be used largely for financing various projects. And so we have the benefit of technology. We need to try desal. We need to try cloud seeding. We need to eliminate the
So
salt
cloud
seeders.
seeding's real? I always
It
wondered
is.
about that.
It absolutely
Please.
is. We need to eliminate the salt seeders that are sucking up 55,000 acre-feet of water a year. We need to do a better job of conservation and efficiencies. And with technology, we can. We can. But we have a sustaining drought, and we have a growing population. So this is going to take multiple solutions, and being able to get everybody together, whether it's rural, whether it's ag, whether it's urban, get them together to forge solutions. It's a complex problem. And so as governor, I will bring everybody together to the table to figure it out.
I think
We
all
need
wanna
to
do
we
that.
need to
all-
bring our federal delegation, our congressmen and senators,
Well-
get them on the same page. Everyone, last I heard, every Democrat and Republican and independent drinks water, and we need to send them to D.C. and say we need federal cooperation. We don't want this to get into crisis mode. We want to solve this problem before it gets there. And Arizona is growing as these blue states continue to push policies that are destructive and driving people out. More people are moving to Arizona, and that's not going to change.
How much should water be a part of growth in Arizona, impacting growth in Arizona? Water concerns. I mean,
Water's the number one.
Scott, I'm asking Carrie, how much of a concern should growth be as far as future plans are concerned?
Well, I mean, we've got to have water. And I think actually our growth is going to spur the need to really push this quickly. We don't need to drag our feet on this. We need to push it quickly.
but
Okay,
I
big
wanna answer
developments
that.
in Buckeye, big developments in Benson, these kinds of things, are these things we should take a second look at because of water
Yes.
concerns?
Yes.
I don't think so. I think,
don't think
I think
so?
the development that we have going, we should continue with.
Now, here's my thing, okay?
Please.
Okay,
We
we've
might
got
know.
thousands and thousands of apartments. They get a 100-year certificate. I want to know, how are they getting this 100-year certificate and they just keep booming? And you're right, the development is just exploding.
So
Well,
keep
why-
developments in mind when water policy,
There should
as far
be.
as future growth is concerned.
Well, they should.
Wait, they're supposed to. Karen?
I would agree. Growth and development needs to pay for itself, and they largely do. Major master plan communities have to have the assured water supply. They have to get the certificate before they can sign a final plat. They have to build the roads, their water treatment facilities. They have to build effluent lines. They need to pay their way.
But is that paradigm, that schematic, changing with the drought? We don't have the kind of water we thought we would.
Well, then
but even
then you can't develop because you
Well,
can't
All right,
you
so
can't
you're
get a
saying
plat
it's-
approved.
Okay.
But they are developing, you see?
You
There's
cannot-
nothing
yeah.
stopping. Tell me that 3,000 apartments in
If
those...
there's assured water supply, Paula, you can develop.
Yeah.
The question is, should that assured water supply, should the equation be changed with the
Yes.
drought? So, and you're saying yes. Okay, we
It
got
should.
you. It's
Why
just that
keep
easy.
going?
Yes.
I mean, are they telling us the truth?
Yeah,
Maybe we don't have the truth.
Carrie, we'll start with you on this one. The new law banning abortion, new law banning abortion in Arizona after 15 weeks. There's that law, and there's a territorial era law which bans all abortion, zippo, over. Which law do you think should take effect?
My personal belief is that all life matters, all life counts, and all life is precious, and I don't believe in abortion. I think the older law is going to go into effect. That's what I believe will happen.
Okay, but you approve of that? At conception?
I believe life begins at conception.
Okay, what do we do about abortion pills? What do we do about?
I don't think abortion pills should be legal. That's a very
not in
dangerous-
Arizona. Karen, what do you think?
I agree.
You agree?
I agree. I am 100% pro-life. I always have been. I
Unfortunately,
always
her
will
voting
be.
record doesn't show that.
That is,
the
you know,
Arizona
once
Board of
again-
Regents. May I tell them what happened at the
You
Board
know
of
what?
Regents?
Let me tell them what
let
happened.
her finish, and then we'll
Let
get
me-
back
I
to
really
you,
would like
Karen.
to
She
know.
continues to distort
this
the
is a
record.
fact.
A
It's a
bill
voting
came to
record.
the Board of Regents in February, signed by the governor at the end of the session after changes were made to the bill that we raised that could have cost Arizona taxpayers billions of dollars. And if that piece of
She voted to
legislation
hire
landed on my
she
desk
voted to
as it
hire
did,
a
I would have
lobbyist.
signed it. I would have
She
signed it in
voted
a
to. She
second.
voted to use taxpayer money to hire a lobbyist to go down to the Capitol and work to kill
that is
one of the
not
most
true.
important piece of pro-life
That-
legislation that we had. Senator
she's-
Nancy Bartow was behind that. She's one
And
of our
she
great
made-
stalwarts,
and she made the
has
amendment.
endorsed me.
She made the
because she
amendment to
understands that
eliminate the
Karen
contractual
is not
liability
pro-life.
issue that we raised. She made the amendment to deal with the contractual liability issue that we raised.
And there's a reason she's endorsing me, because you tried to get that piece of legislation killed. And that proves
She's
to
a
me-
master at, you know, like I said,
Okay,
fake
well,
news,
all right,
twisting
well,
the
this is-
record.
yeah, we get-
and
we
you
get-
know what? If
The record
if
is
she
right there at
understood the
kerrylake.com,
process,
you can
she's
see
either
how she
lying
voted.
or she doesn't understand the process. Take your pick.
Let's talk about solutions rather than fight.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Why don't we talk about your ideas regarding abortion, the 15-week ban or the territorial
Listen, this is
complete
how
ban?
I see life, okay? And I'm glad life won, okay? Roe versus Wade was overturned. Life won. Life won. Thank God. But the way I see life is this. If we were exploring other planets and other solar systems, and say on Mars we actually found a clump of cells, let's call it, life, right? Wouldn't we do, whether we're Republicans or Democrats or whoever, man or woman, wouldn't we do everything we could to protect that life? Because it's new life. Well, why can't we treat human life in the same way that we would treat alien life that we discovered on an alien planet?
How would you handle mayors from big cities like, say, Phoenix and Tucson, who say that they will not put an emphasis on going after doctors who perform abortions, early abortions, prior to 15-week abortions?
Well, we can withhold funding to them cities, those mayors.
Paula, what do you think of this?
Yeah. Well, I'm pro-life from conception to death. And I believe...
No exceptions for rape or incest?
Well, that's a gray area. I don't know. That's a personal decision for a person. I do believe that. And you know, I'm giving you my personal input. And I believe when government gets involved and says, hey, it's a way of birth control. No, it's not. It's not a way of birth control. All right? The problem is even those people rioting, who are they? They're angry. You know what? All of them have had abortions. They want the government to authorize what they have done. All right, so that's the problem.
Abortion has killed 63 million babies.
I know.
And I don't think anybody's okay with that. Is life sacred or is
As
it
governor,
not?
if governor, let's say that the territorial ban somehow is approved and there is no abortion, it's over. Would you push to increase foster care services?
Absolutely.
Other safety net services?
No, this is what
it costs money.
Are you asking me or Paula?
I'm asking you.
Yeah, but you know, you're always
Paula,
interrupting me.
please,
She's
good
always
Lord.
interrupting me,
Paula.
and you're allowing it.
I'll let
Paula,
Paula
please.
answer if she wants.
No, I will answer.
No, we're asking you the question. Will social services and foster
The worst
care
part,
services...
one of the worst things about abortion and the way it has been played out for the past 50 years wrongfully is that a woman who's afraid and pregnant walks into a Planned Parenthood and they're given one option, the absolute worst option. They're not told that they can be the mother God envisioned them being. They're not told that there's help. They're not told that there is adoption help if they want to put their baby up for adoption. They're only given the worst option. I have a friend who had an abortion. 15 years later, when she was 30, she found out she could never conceive. They cut her cervix. She was never able to be that mother. And it's a scar that never goes away.
So you
help
would
women.
improve social safety net and...
Absolutely.
Okay, would you do that, Paula?
No, I would start here first. You talk about a scar, the scar on the girl's life that she doesn't realize when she makes that decision that haunts her for years. I met with someone 47 years old, and she brought it up, and she says, you know, this has haunted me all my life. We never talk about what it does to a woman. All right?
Will you support state funding for social safety nets and all these sorts of services that will be needed if abortion is further restricted in Arizona?
Safety nets, what? Supporting the child, not
All
planned.
sorts of services.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
There's a lot of great services out there.
Okay, Karen, I mean, are you ready to spend the money that will no doubt be needed if abortion, territorial or 15-week ban, either one, if that becomes law?
Absolutely. Abortion is evidence that we have failed women. I will do something similar to what they did in Texas, $100 million to the Alternatives to Abortion Act. I have always been pro-life, 100%. And I think that we have to protect and take care of the woman as much as we take care of and be concerned
Ready to
about.
spend money on that?
Absolutely. And I also think it's quite interesting that Carrie Lake, who knocked on doors for Barack Obama,
That's
the
absolutely.
most
It's interesting.
pro-abortion
She
president
is
of our
accusing me
time,
of lying.
she
She's
decided
accusing me of
about
Donated to Barack Obama twice.
You know
And-
what?
and she
this
walked
one is
doors.
I've got
spending,
the FBC filing.
and
right
this
She
one
walked
has
doors for Barack
donated
Obama.
tens of thousands of dollars
So
to
she
the
immediately
most
switched
liberal.
her position when she
candidate.
decided to become
Okay,
donated
hold
to
on,
Arizona
hold on,
for
hold on.
governor.
Everyone, please. Gary, respond, please.
First of all, when I talk about Karen's record, it's fact. It's from the Arizona Board of
And it's
Regents, her
wrong.
voting record.
You are
and you can go
wrong.
to carrielake.com and show that.
Right.
She's spending millions of dollars,
and
more
you can
than
go to
any.
lakeisfake.com to see about her donations.
Real quickly,
Can I- may I finish?
before we get done, you did change. You did change your political affiliation, your thoughts, and your ideas. Why is that a bad thing, Karen? I mean, Ronald Reagan changed. He was a Democrat. Donald
Well,
Trump changed. He was a
yeah,
Democrat.
Ronald Reagan.
She doesn't want
I
people
worked
who've
for
changed.
Ronald
Please let
Reagan.
Karen
She's
respond.
no Ronald Reagan. She was.
But people
he was.
change.
You know what? She found God guns in the GOP about a day and a half before she decided to run for governor.
And it
She
says it on her
supported-
website.
Okay, Carrie,
she
I wanna get
supported
back to
Barack
you, Carrie.
Obama, and
The-
she can't. She can't
Some would
deny
say
that.
some would say that the ability to change is a
Ken?
good thing. Some would also say that the ability to change is not such a good thing in a position of leadership. How would you
We're in
respond
an
to that?
amazing spot right now where people are waking up to the lies of the Democrat Party by the droves. Literally, we had somebody come into our office and wanted to register to vote as a Republican. He'd been a Democrat his whole life. So people are waking up, and if Karen doesn't want those voters, I do. If you're waking up to the lies of the Democrat Party, we want you in the party that has ideas that work, the party of common sense. It was 10 million Obama voters who crossed over and gave us President Donald J. Trump. President Trump donated to Hillary Clinton before. He was a Democrat before, as was Ronald Reagan. I'd rather be with Ronald Reagan, President Trump, and Carrie Lake than Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney, and John McCain, who are
Okay.
all of the same cloth, cut from the same cloth as Karen.
You got 30 seconds, Scott.
Sure.
You get the last word on this.
Sounds great.
The idea of changing as a leader, as an executive, is that such a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing if you're honest about it. For example, you know, the whole drag queen debacle with her and her drag queen friends and whatnot. She's
I'm
not
hoping
being
you're gonna let
honest
me
about
respond
it.
to this.
She's not being honest about it, and now she's suing the drag queen. I mean, the drag queen's got evidence. She
Are you
hung
not
out in drag
okay,
bars.
Scott?
I mean,
Scott,
she
you
brought
opened up
drag
you opened up a
queens.
can of words. I gave you 30 seconds.
she
and
brought
you did
drag
this.
queens in
All
front of
right,
her children.
Carrie, how do you respond
First
to
of
this
all,
whole
you know
thing?
what? I've never backed away from anything I've done in my life. The
Be
pictures-
honest about it. That's
Scott,
all we're asking.
I think I'd like to answer.
Let
if you
her
don't
answer,
mind.
please, Scott.
There's a reason we don't always invite Scott because he's polling at 0%.
No, 1%.
And this is what
But
happens
the
when
polls
you.
lie.
Scott, please,
Would you like me to answer?
the
I would
last
love
word,
to.
and please make it quick because
I've,
we're running out
I've
of
never
time.
I never hide from anything. I've been honest about everything. The people of Arizona have known me for 27 years. Those pictures actually came from my own website. I don't have a problem if you want to go to a show where someone's a impersonator. This person that made these accusations, many of them defamatory, was a friend, and he was funny. But he's lying. He's never been to my home. And I don't have a problem if, as an adult, you want to go to a show. My problem is, and I think every sane,
Quickly.
hardworking person doesn't want drag shows in their schools. That's pretty obvious, and that's what it's about.
And that's where we're going to end, with drag schools in our drag shows in our schools.
Drag queens and drag shows.
Time now for closing statements, and going in reverse order of our opening remarks, we start with Karen Taylor Robeson.
Thank you. You have heard big differences from the candidates today. Carrie Lake and I are quite different. She did knock on doors for Barack Obama. She advocated for mass amnesty, and she was a card-carrying member of the liberal media for 27 years. I had the honor of a lifetime to work for Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan told us that freedom was one generation away from extinction. I've had an honor of my lifetime to campaign for governor of this great state. You've welcomed me into your homes and into your communities. I've listened to your stories and I've heard your concerns. Please know this, I will not only fight for you every day, I will win for you every day. We will secure our borders, we will fight crime, and we will help Arizona families who are hurting from Joe Biden's economic disasters in Washington, D.C. Please support me for Governor. Karen Taylor Robson, thank you.
All right, and now the closing statement from Kari Lake.
That was a great memorized line, Karen. You know what? I have been covering Arizona for 27 years. I know the people of this great state. We are at a crossroads right now. Are we going back to the old way of doing politics, the McCain style of politics, where only a few people are brought in, the political elite, and the rest of us are left out? Or are we going to go America first, Arizona first policies? There's a reason President Trump has endorsed me. There's a reason that all of the great America first leaders have endorsed me. And there's a reason President Trump calls Karen Robson a rhino. The fact is, that's what she is. I encourage you to go to our website and take a look at her real record. I want to secure the border, and we will. We have some of the toughest people on the border who support our border policy. We will secure the border starting on day one. We will improve our schools and make sure our kids are safe while they're there. And we will finally solve our water issues here in Arizona. I encourage you to vote for me August 2nd. Thank you, Arizona.
Thank you very much. And next we go to Paula Tuliani-Zen.
All right. You know what? I have to say this, Kari. You got recognition and endorsements because you are a celebrity. You've been on TV for 25 years. You did a great job. You're beautiful, great figure. But you know what? I've got experience and the obstacles and solutions that I can give to this government. Okay? I know the business. The other thing, I have a question for you. You endorsed Trump. You helped him. You helped him after you left your position. Why didn't you quit your position 2 years before? You really could have helped Trump. You could have been the hero in the United States. Here's Kari Lake. She's for Trump. She's bashing the media 2 years before while he was president. You got on after he left, after he lost, after you had given up your contract. So what is the point? Why wouldn't they endorse you? You were so visible, and that's the problem. We're getting to people that are visible. No, we got to get to people that can do it.
All right, that's it. That's your 1 minute closing statement. Paula, that's your 1 minute closing statement. You got it?
Got it.
Good. And we know you can't respond to a closing statement. And we finish our closing statements with Scott Neely. Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott Neely, candidate for Arizona governor. I'd like you to vote for me in the August 2nd Republican primary. You can go to NeelyForGovernor.com. That's Neely, F-O-R, Governor.com to learn more about my actual solutions, not my talking points. I'm not a talking point guy. I'm a solutions guy. I have the real solutions for Arizona. I have the solutions to solve our water problems, our infrastructure problems. We need to start funding our HERF fund again. We need to start getting our roads and bridges repaired. We need to get Arizona back on track. We need to get homeless off the street. There are so many things we need to do to solve Arizona's problems. And I'm sorry, but the only kind of drag I've ever dressed in is a business suit or construction work clothes. I've never aspired to be Elvis Presley.
That's a shame.
All right, that's it. That's it. That's it. Thank you to all of our candidates. Programming note, Arizona Horizon will host Democratic gubernatorial candidate Marco Lopez tomorrow, June 30th at 5 and 10 p.m. There is no debate in the Democratic gubernatorial race because the other candidate declined to participate. And one more note, you can watch tonight's debate in all its glory, again on azpbs.org, where you can catch all of Arizona Horizon's past programming. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.